Welcome to Deep Dive, the first created AI podcast on software development, brought to life by Scio's leadership with over 20 years of experience from our CEO and partners in strategic digital nearshoring and much more. From Mexico and Latin America, we're here to share insights from working with one of the world's most demanding markets, the US. If you're looking to improve the performance of your development team, make them more efficient and culturally aligned, you're in the right place. Get ready for expert tips and strategies designed to take your tech team to the next level right here on Deep Dive.
All right, everybody, welcome back for another Deep Dive. We'd love to get into all this interesting stuff, and today we're going to talk about software development.
Oh, yeah.
But not the technical side.
Okay.
This is about the human element, the communication, and the collaboration that goes into making successful software.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm excited.
Yeah. And to help us with this, we've got this article by Adolfo Cruz.
Okay.
And Adolfo is a PMO Director at Scio.
Wow.
So he's got a lot of experience. And the title of his article is How I Learned the Importance of Communication and Collaboration in Software Projects.
Ooh, that's good.
So what's really cool about this is that he kind of walks us through his journey as a developer.
Oh, nice.
Starting as, a junior developer and working his way up to actually leading teams. And he's got this unique perspective.
That's always good to have someone who's seen both sides. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
And so today we're going to go through kind of his journey and focusing on how he applies these lessons today at Scio.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot that we can learn from him no matter what field we're in.
For sure.
For sure. So let's start with the why.
Okay.
Why is communication and collaboration so critical in software development?
Well, it's more than just talking to each other, right? Think about it like a complex software project is like this intricate clock with hundreds of these tiny little gears.
Okay.
And each gear represents like a team or a specific function. And each one might be working perfectly fine on their own.
Right.
But if they're not in sync, if they're not communicating, the whole clock just stops.
It falls apart.
Yeah, and that communication is like the oil that keeps everything running smoothly.
Okay, I love that. That's a really good analogy.
Thanks.
It's like, all these different parts have to work together.
Yeah.
And Adolfo, he illustrates this with like a personal story.
Oh, really?
About a report he built early in his career.
Oh, nice.
And it was kind of a crash and learn moment for him. Yeah, so he was working as a junior developer, and he was working really hard on this report.
Yeah.
Hitting all of his deadlines, doing everything that he thought was right.
Yeah.
And then, bam,
Yeah.
during user testing, the entire system crashes.
Wow.
Yeah, and this story really highlights how seemingly small communication gaps can have these massive consequences.
Totally.
He thought he was doing everything right, but, there are a few missed details.
Yeah.
About like the data volume, how the report would be used, and it led to a complete system meltdown.
Oof.
Yeah, it's like a nightmare for a developer.
For sure.
So it really shows how crucial it is to, understand the bigger picture.
Totally.
But what's interesting is that he breaks down these specific communication breakdowns that led to this failure.
Okay.
And they're so relatable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he talks about, as a junior developer, he was hesitant to ask questions.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want to ask too many questions.
I've been there for sure.
Right. And he just kind of assumed that others had things under control.
Yeah.
And even his progress updates to his manager were kind of vague.
Oh, no.
And I think we've all been there at some point in our careers.
You're telling me.
Where we're like, yeah, everything's fine.
Yeah, it's all good.
When it's really not.
Yeah.
And those unspoken assumptions, they can really create problems.
Yeah, they can turn into a ticking time bomb for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like you try to avoid looking dumb.
Right, exactly. And so, it's so easy to fall into those traps, especially when you're new to a team or you're trying to, look competent.
Yeah, you want to impress everyone.
Right. But those unspoken assumptions can really create problems.
Oh, for sure. And you know what I think is really interesting about Adolfo's journey is that he took this really negative experience, like the system crash, and turned it into this positive lesson about clear communication.
Exactly. And he doesn't stop there.
Oh.
He applies those lessons today as a PMO Director at Scio.
Now, for those who don't know what a PMO Director is,
Yeah.
They are basically responsible for successful delivery of all the projects within a company. So they're like the conductors of an orchestra, making sure that all the different parts are working together.
Okay, so how does he approach this role?
Well, he focuses on building a culture of communication and collaboration.
Okay.
So he's not fixing code anymore.
No.
He's fixing communication patterns.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So how does he actually make that happen?
So he does this in a few ways. First, he encourages a culture of asking questions.
Okay.
No question is too small or too silly.
Right.
Everyone should feel comfortable asking for clarification on anything that's unclear, whether it's technical or a project requirement, anything.
That's so important.
Yeah. And the second thing is active listening.
Oh, yeah.
It's not enough to just hear what someone is saying.
Yeah.
You have to really understand their perspective and make sure you're both on the same page.
I've been in so many meetings where people are just like talking at each other.
Oh, yeah?
And not with each other.
It's like two ships passing in the night.
Exactly. And so the third thing,
Okay.
he stresses the importance of transparency and keeping everyone in the loop.
Yeah.
And he uses like tools and processes to make sure that all the project information is accessible. And that everyone knows their roles and responsibilities.
Yeah, so everyone knows what they're doing and what's going on.
Exactly. And this has like a ripple effect.
Oh, really?
Throughout Scanalon, it leads to more efficient workflows.
Okay.
Fewer errors, happier and more productive teams.
That's amazing.
So it's like he took his experience
Yeah.
and turned it into a company-wide philosophy.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful.
So let's connect this back to our listeners.
Okay.
Why should someone who isn't in software development care about this?
Well, that's the great thing about these principles is that they can apply to anyone.
Yeah.
Whether you're leading a marketing campaign, organizing a community event, even just working on a family project.
Yeah.
The need for clear, open, proactive communication is always there.
It's always important.
It really is.
So it's not about the tools or the processes, it's about the mindset.
The philosophy behind it.
Yeah, and that's what makes Adolfo's story so powerful.
Totally.
It's a reminder that even these small changes in how we communicate can have a huge impact
Absolutely.
on our success and well-being.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this.
Me too. So as we're wrapping up this deep dive,
Okay.
what is your biggest takeaway from Adolfo's story?
You know, I think for me, it's that leadership isn't about having all the answers or being the loudest voice in the room.
Yeah.
It's about creating an environment where everyone feels empowered to share their ideas, to ask questions and work together.
To collaborate.
Yeah, and I think Adolfo's approach at Scio is a perfect example of that.
It's really inspiring.
It is.
And it's something that we can all strive for.
Absolutely, no matter what we do.
Yeah, it's amazing how his journey, it shows that even small changes in communication can have a big impact.
Huge impact.
On teams and on companies.
Yeah, and it shows that the biggest obstacles that we face sometimes aren't technical.
Right.
They're human.
It's the people.
Yeah, and those challenges often stem from poor communication.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in like the technical details and forget that we're working with people.
Exactly. And when you prioritize those human connections, and you foster open communication, it makes those technical challenges so much easier.
Right, because then you can actually talk about them.
Exactly.
And figure them out together.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, if our listeners could take away one thing from Adolfo's story, what would it be?
I would say become a champion for clear and proactive communication in your own work.
Okay.
Whether you're leading a team or just contributing individually, make an effort to ask questions, to clarify expectations, share information openly.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised at what happens.
I love that. And don't be afraid to learn from mistakes.
Yeah.
Adolfo's story shows how a setback can be a springboard for growth.
For sure, embrace those crash and learn moments and use them to get better at communicating.
It's all about learning and growing.
Absolutely.
So to all of our listeners out there, what resonated with you most from Adolfo's journey?
Yeah, what will you change?
What's one step you can take this week?
This week?
To improve communication at work?
Let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them on social media using the hashtag #TheDeepDive.
Let's keep talking about this.
Yeah, let's learn from each other.
And remember building a culture of communication.
Yeah.
It's not a one-time thing.
It's a journey.
It's an ongoing process. It takes time.
Constant effort.
But the payoff is huge.
Worth it.
Stronger teams, better solutions, and just a more fulfilling work experience.
That's what we all want.
That's the dream.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the human side of software development.
It was fun.
Until next time, keep those communication lines open.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you for joining us on Deep Dive. At Scio, we specialize in helping tech companies build high-performance, dedicated teams with skilled talent from Mexico and Latin America. With over 2 decades working in the U.S. market, we're here to truly help you improve and scale your development capacity. If you're ready to expand your team with trusted, skilled, and easy-to-work-with software developers, remember, we're your strategic nearshore partner. Looking forward to diving deeper with you in the next episode of Deep Dive.